It's cozy season, and nothing compares to wrapping yourself in a Minky Couture blanket. Luxuriously soft, perfectly warm, thoughtfully made. From movie nights to chilly mornings, Minky Couture turns everyday moments into pure comfort. Once you feel it, you'll understand why it's called the original best blanket ever. Visit minkycouture.com or a store near you and make this cozy season your softest one yet.
When you buy LG, you get so much more than just an appliance. You get more done, more cost savings, more peace of mind, and more control. Because LG appliances are designed to do more. Like washers and dryers with AI tech to take out the guesswork, refrigerators that fit in tight spaces and keep food fresher longer, or ranges with precise induction cooking and easy cleanup built in, all with the style you want and reliability you can count on, so you can get more from your home every day. LG Appliances. So much more. Make life easier with LG. See the latest models and savings now at lg.com.
New show. Here we go.
The show is brought to you by our generous patrons at patreon.com/Fallout Lorecast.
Robots Radio presents the Fallout Lorecast.
Welcome to the Fallout Lorecast, a place for the Fallout community to come together to explore the boundaries of our knowledge about the world of Fallout.
Welcome back, Wastelanders and Vault Dwellers, to the Fallout Lorecast. This is your host, Tom, or Robots, with my co-host, Neos Pandora, or Lainey. Lainey, it's been a few weeks. How are you?
Hello.
Hello.
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. So last week we got to talk with our patrons, and unfortunately you were working, so you couldn't make it. So everybody sends their well wishes, and I had an awesome time, and you had to work, so sorry about that. And the week before that, you did your solo episode, which was really cool. Thanks for chipping in there.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, so welcome back to the show. This week we are diving back into Fallout New Vegas, and we're talking about a group that might just be the only purely good guys, or the closest thing we have to like purely good guys in Fallout, which is kind of crazy to say because everything's usually so gray.
Yeah.
Lainey, who are we talking about?
We're talking about the followers of the apocalypse. So they're pretty cool.
Of the apocalypse. The followers
they're definitely
of the apocalypse. Hold on, I have to do it.
The followers of the apocalypse.
They sound like I should be pronouncing their name that way. But they're not scary. She's
They're
nodding.
Not scary.
Nodding works really well on audio platforms.
Sorry, there were so many things happening in the room like 2 seconds ago. I wasn't sure if you could hear all the things that just happened. I was like, we just started again.
Oh, no.
This is take 2, by the way, everyone.
Take 2. Yeah, we had some technical difficulties, but we're going to work it out. So who are the followers of the apocalypse? Let's go ahead and dig into this.
The followers of the apocalypse are a humanitarian organization originating in New California, and they provide survival education and medical services to people in the area that are having a hard time. Everyone, basically.
So they're like the Red Cross.
Pretty much.
Kind of.
Kind of. And they also do a lot of research into things kind of like sustainable living and how to use technology and create technology, and what technology already existed that was good versus technology that was bad. So it's pretty cool. They're a really cool organization.
So let's talk about the name, the followers. Why do they sound so scary? I mean, they're not scary. If you're going to go to anybody in the wasteland when you need help, they're probably the people that you want to go to.
Oh, yeah.
But why such a scary name? Followers of the apocalypse.
Well, it makes it sound right like they love the apocalypse. Like the end of the world was probably something that they think about a lot, right? It's obviously it's in the name, but they don't like it. as far as like
they don't like
followers.
the end of the world.
They don't like the end of the world, because they think they're following it. Like maybe they worship the bomb or something. They wouldn't be the first, right?
Right.
And
like the Church of Adam or something like that. Like that's like if you're somebody who hasn't played through New Vegas or the Fallout 1 and 2, because the Followers of the Apocalypse actually come from the original games, then you might hear the name Followers of the Apocalypse and think that it's, like the Church of Adam or, one of these weird splinter groups that have some sort of, I don't know, creepy agenda of some sort, but they're totally not. They're totally not. But so what are they doing? What is the purpose? What is their ideology all about? How does this work?
So they don't love the bomb. They don't love the end of the world. They want to keep the memory of the war and the end times essentially alive so that people don't do it again in the future.
Right.
So
right.
They aren't into it in like a cool, like, oh yeah, the apocalypse, like how awesome, like humanity was a blemish on Earth, like something crazy. Like they really just, they saw it happen. They think humanity is a lovely, wonderful thing that should stick around, and they'd like it to stick around as long as possible. And so they need to figure out how to prevent terrible things from happening in the future or to continue happening.
Yeah, and there's something similar about this ideology to the Brotherhood of Steel in that, and they're very different, but in that they're following what has happened in the world and what caused the apocalypse, and they're coming up with some sort of what they believe is a solution to make sure that it doesn't happen again and that the world is a better place. With the Brotherhood, it has to do with technology, and they have this concept that they need to take the technology so that other people don't use it or misuse it. And they think that somehow that's the thing that is going to fix the world. When it comes to the Followers of the Apocalypse, it's really a very different thing. It's about, I get the sense that it's mostly about healing. It's about healing, and it's about science and research. It's about giving the people what they need in order to live more healthier lives, reducing the amount of, drug addiction, all of these kinds of things, and a belief in humans as good people, as the kinds of people that if you give them the right medical attention, you give them the right scientific knowledge, that they can progress into a future that makes things better again. That's the sense I get when I think about the Followers of the Apocalypse.
Yeah, and the comparison to the Brotherhood is really interesting because they do both have kind of a fixation on technology, and the Followers of the Apocalypse do use quite a bit of technology, but it is all very like agriculture and like medical oriented.
Right.
And so they don't deal with weaponry at all, like in the slightest, they have guards, but they themselves are pacifists. And so all the technology that you'll see them using is going to be benefiting someone. And they do keep other technology because they like to scavenge and research. But they will purposefully keep things away to keep the Dark Brotherhood. I did this before. That is not who this is.
The Dark Brotherhood. I've been playing the new expansion for Elder Scrolls Online. I streamed a little bit of it this morning, and the Dark Brotherhood shows up in the expansion.
Ooh.
No spoilers, because they were hinted at in the like preview stuff that you got to do before the expansion comes out. But yeah, the Dark Brother. No, the Brotherhood of Steel. Different Brotherhood.
Brotherhood of Steel. Yeah. So the Followers of the Apocalypse have been known to keep technology from the Brotherhood.
Yeah,
because they were scared that they would misuse it.
Yeah, they don't like the idea that they're hoarding it all and keeping it from everyone. They think that that's actually a bad thing. Which is interesting because in their own way, they're kind of hoarding it, but not to use it, They want to learn about it.
Right.
But they freely offer the what the technology brings to the benefit of other people. That's the difference.
Yes.
That's the difference. The Brotherhood may or may not help you out. That's totally up to what they're doing. But if you were to find yourself in need at a Follower of the Apocalypse's camp, or even just ran into an individual who considers themselves in league with them. You know, somebody who is a follower of the apocalypse, who just happens to be working for the NCR or some other organization. And you said, hey, I really need some help with this. Their chances are they're going to help you out. Like, that's kind of their MO. So let's dig in a little bit into the origin of this. This isn't, I've touched on them a little bit in the like original Fallouts in talking about them, but let's talk about the origin. Where did they come from?
So they're vault dwellers or ex-vault dwellers. I don't know what vault. Do you know?
I don't know what vault either.
Yeah, I don't know what vault. I know that it was near.
Sure. Sorry, go on.
Oh, it's near Dayglow, which is San Diego, but after, you know, being very much destroyed and irradiated. And
right.
They stuck around there for a while and, you know, grouped up and got to know each other, or I guess they probably already knew each other, and, you know, just kept living life and lived life over there, and things were fine for a while until they started dying of disease, which I imagine in a place called Dayglow, you would probably be getting some sort of something, you know, from the radiation.
Yeah. The Dayglow was
a little dangerous.
Highly irradiated. And there's a whole storyline. So in Fallout, I believe it's Fallout 1, you meet them and you come across their at this point they're up in the like Los Angeles area. And you come across the followers of the apocalypse, and you see their building, and they've got like the circle with the cross inside it. And you talk with the followers, and you talk with their leader, who what was her name? Nicole? Was that her name?
Yeah,
Nicole. And she has such a common name that I was like, oh, the dogs are barking now. Wonderful. But when I thought about it, I was like, wait a minute, that's not it. No, it's Nicole. And she talks about how her parents were killed by marauders. And she came from this area like Dayglow, and how Dayglow was highly, highly irradiated. It was like bombed to hell. And sorry, dogs barking in the background. But anyway, that's the origin, is that she realized that the Wasteland is an absolutely terrible place. But instead of that turning her into some sort of supervillain, she went like the good route.
Yeah, she organized this group of people that, you know, they grew up in vaults. These people had been in the vault for forever, and took them out and reorganized them as a group that could function in the Wasteland and help people. And when they started getting sick from the area that they were living in, moved them north, which is just awesome, you know. And it's from the beginning, the intentions were good, right? And it's just really cool. I think Nicole is a really cool character.
Yeah, and she sets the ideology for the group from the very beginning. Like the very beginning is, and I think that this is one of those like life lesson kinds of things. Like, the world has done terrible things to me. I don't want that to happen to other people. So I'm going to do the best I can in order to make, you know, use my experiences, as terrible as they are, to motivate me towards doing better, to making a positive difference in the world. And like, she sets the foundation for the group in that ideology, and that carries through all the way to New Vegas, like 200 years past the events of the bombs dropping. So that's, I mean, it just, obviously these are not real world occurrences, right? We're talking about a game. We're talking about stories that were written. This is fiction, but there's something to be learned here. And I have a feeling that kind of positivity, although it isn't as strong as something like the Brotherhood of Steel, or as expansive as the NCR, or as dangerous and maybe even tempting as the Legion, is something that affects individuals, and that they pass that on. It's that idea of like doing the good thing for somebody. And that doesn't mean everyone you do a good thing for is going to turn into a do-gooder, I guess, and pass that on. But enough of them will, that it will carry that ideology forward. And I think that that's what's really, really cool about this origin story for the followers.
Yeah, for sure. And unfortunately, the people in the areas that they have moved into don't have the same view as we do about them. Right. So objectively, we can look at this organization and be like, wow, look at all these really interesting and cool things that they're doing for the communities and, so on and so forth. But the people that they are living around have done a pretty good job of ruining their reputation. So many people consider them to be revolutionary anarchists, which makes some people in power, particularly the NCR, a little bit wary of them. And the NCR has some other history with them that we'll touch on a little bit. But they are perceived as a threat by many other people who are looking to obtain power in the Wasteland, which is really interesting because the organization has no interest in obtaining power or by inciting any kind of revolution. They just want to help people survive.
It's interesting. I think this is one of the things that you come across a lot in even our own politics, is that oftentimes the people who are out for themselves are threatened by people who are out for the good of everyone because it gets in their way, and they find that they turn them into enemies is what they do. They spread lies, or they frame things in a way that makes it sound like they're out for themselves too. And I think that there's probably this like core human component of not being able to, like, we think everyone is like we are. So if you're the kind of person who is seeking power in politics for the sake of your own gain, then you assume everyone is. Right. And this idea that like somebody might be doing things mostly for the benefit of other people seems foreign. Like, people don't do that. I don't do that. People don't do that. People are always out for themselves. that kind of thing. Right. But no, in some cases, there are people who will just prioritize other people's needs over their own. And those people are very dangerous to people who want to take advantage of others and focus on their own gains. So I think that's kind of what's going on here.
Yeah. And so this leads into what happened with the NCR. And it's kind of interesting. They used to work together for years. They worked together, and this was great because the NCR was expanding to new areas, also trying, they had some of their own motivations, but also helping people and working together with the followers of the apocalypse. This was a good team. There was a lot of potential there. Unfortunately, they had some disagreements about foreign policy. The NCR is very... it just makes me think of like colonial, like American, like Manifest Destiny. Like, they just want to keep expanding. They just want to take over as much space as they can because they think that their way of life is the best, and they're going to protect everyone and help everyone. And
that they're reinstating what's left of America in a way.
Yeah. It's interesting, and it can be good. That isn't inherently a bad thing.
But growth and expansion for the sake of growth and expansion is ultimately meaningless.
Right. And the followers see this, right? And Nicole sees this and is like, this is bad. This is not what we should be doing. And so they have this disagreement. And I think there's a couple other things that happen. I skipped ahead a little bit.
Let's check the notes. Yeah, sometimes when we get to talking about these things, we'll end up jumping around because there's certain things that kind of stick out to us more than others.
So, after the NCR started becoming a little bit more expansive, expansionist, if you will, I think that's the term for it. I'm like trying to think of AP US history. I can't remember.
Yeah, expandionist works. Sure.
Yeah. So when that happened, and then along with the NCR moving into these areas and then not actually taking care of the people that are in them because they're just focused on moving further. This was awful. This goes exactly against what the followers wanted. And so they left. That was the last straw, really. And when they left, they remained very bitter about the NCR. And there became this mindset of they still had to move along with the NCR because that was the land that they had access to, right?
Right.
It was kind of controlled. And so they had to keep going with them. And so it became like this janitorial task where they had to clean up behind wherever the NCR decided they were just going to expand to.
I wonder, real quick to jump in here, and if you work for nonprofits, if you're the kind of person who does public service work, I wonder how similar this is to being a nonprofit in the United States. Like, I wonder if there's parallels there, right? Like, if you work for, we mentioned the Red Cross. Like, if you work for an organization like the Red Cross, the United States does things that cause issues. Let's say we go to war somewhere. Well, the Red Cross then comes and, like you said, as it like a janitor, comes up and cleans up behind them, helps people in need. World events happen because political groups, countries, whatever, are doing things based on their ideologies. They're seeking of gain, to gain power or protect themselves or whatever. But then you have the nonprofits who come and clean up, right? They come afterwards. I wonder if that's like an analogy here. I wonder if that's actually something that inspired this as a group and what they're going through, like real world stuff similar to that.
Yeah. And so like they do with the Brotherhood, they also keep technology from the NCR, because same reason, right? If you don't know if their motivations are good, then you don't want them to have technology that could cause something terrible to happen. And then the NCR, on the other hand, has been using a propaganda campaign to just really tear the followers to shreds and just ruin their reputation for everyone, make it so that people don't know what they're actually doing and just hear, this propaganda and believe that they're this terrible anarchist group, which is just ridiculous, but it works.
Which oh my God, it's so timely too for like the things that have been happening. And I'm sure this happens all the time in politics, but I can think of like a dozen examples of groups or politicians or whoever who are motivated by the goodwill to help people. The idea that like following science can make us healthier, or focusing on the needs of the many will lead to a stronger economy rather than just the wants and desires of the wealthy. And there are a number of organizations and people in our society today that are doing good for the sake of everyone. And the people who are against them are just malicious in these, these falsities, this misrepresentation of who they are and what they believe, and make them sound like idiots or make them sound like they're actually in it for themselves when they're not. And it's amazing how many of us fall for that. And I don't want to get too political. That's why I'm not being too specific on these things, because what's interesting about that is that whatever side of the aisle you're on, you think that's happening to your side of the aisle from the other side of the aisle, because you believe that your side is being represented unfairly by the other side. Right. And that's what makes it so hard to know who to trust. Like if you're the NCR here, if you are a pro NCR individual living in the New Vegas area and you hear that the followers of the apocalypse are terrible, then you're just going to believe them because the NCR has helped protect you.
It's like indoctrination.
It's indoctrination.
It just passed down to you.
It just gets passed down to you. That becomes your truth. You believe that to be the truth. And you will have a very hard time seeing the world as otherwise unless you come across some sort of very stark difference or a moment of extreme need where somebody like the followers of the apocalypse actually help you out. And then you start to go, maybe they're not as bad as I was told they were. But unless that happens, chances are you will never have a situation where you are really even given the chance to see them in a different light. And you're right. That's exactly how indoctrination works. And what's so amazing about the way that these stories are written in New Vegas is that this is reality. This is what the world might actually be like in this situation, which makes it feel very, very real. I remember when I played through New Vegas for the first time and came across the followers of the apocalypse, they seemed too good to be true. I was suspicious. I came across them, and
we're trained to be suspicious of things like this.
Yeah, well, and especially in a Fallout game, right? Like everything's gray. There's no good. There's just gray, and then there's sometimes really bad. But most of everything's just gray. But I came across them, and they're like, "Hey, we need some meds," and I was like, "Okay, I guess I can give you meds." But I was like, "What is this for? Is it like are you using this for something other than what you're saying you're using it for? This is kind of suspicious. This seems weird." Like you walk around and when they're holed up in like a fort, and you walk around and you look at the tents, and there are people who are receiving medical treatment, and they're like in tents right next to guards and people with weapons. And those people are there because they're guarding the fort where they're taking care of the people who have needs, not because they're part of like a military force, but because they need to protect their fort, because otherwise raiders would come and take all their stuff.
Because the people themselves in the group are pacifists.
Right.
If they didn't have anyone protecting them, they could just get destroyed. Right.
Like a raider group could just, come right up and take all their rat away and all their stim packs and then head back out into the wasteland, and it seemed too good to be true. But the more I learn about them, the more it seems like they are the good guys. Like if you're going to side with somebody in New Vegas, these are the people to side with. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to quote unquote win, but I don't think that they're trying to win. They're just trying to do what's right. And it's kind of like, sorry, go ahead.
Like I said before, they're not looking for power. They're not looking for anything. They are just there to help. Yeah. There's no other motivation.
Right.
They're just there to help.
Right. It's kind of like in Fallout 4 where you have what's his face? The guy with the hat with the thing on the side. Oh my, I would lose words. And there's another camp that needs your help. There's another settlement that needs help. Preston and that group. The
Minutemen?
Yeah, the Minutemen. It's kind of like the Minutemen. Like the Minutemen are never going to win the conflict. They don't have they're outgunned in every sense. The Brotherhood will blow them away if it came to it. The synths, they went go up against the Institute. Like, no, it's not gonna happen. They're gonna lose. The Wasteland itself is gonna destroy them. But the Minutemen are just in it to help other people. They're kind of like this is kind of like the Minutemen of New Vegas, but they're focused more on medical needs than on protection.
Yeah, and education.
Right. Well, Lainey,
science education.
Is this a good place to move to the middle of the show? Because I know we've got some other things coming up that we should probably save for the second half. What do you think?
Yeah, there's like a gap of 100 years that I jump in the notes, and I feel like I want to make sure we hit everything before the 100-year jump. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's...
Yeah, so let me make sure that we didn't miss anything.
Sorry, I'm kind of...
It's okay.
I'm kind of rabbit trailing here.
I know, and then I just tack on, and then I'm like,
I've been inspired. I've been inspired by the followers of the apocalypse.
So let me do a little skim.
Yeah, if you scroll back up to here in the notes where I highlighted.
Yeah.
You'll see.
Yeah, that's where that is. But some of what we're talking about was past there. Yeah. And that's my own fault for
tell you what,
organization.
We're going to go to the middle of the show. I'm going to thank our patrons. You figure out where I've messed up. I totally derailed her plan with the show notes. This is why I let her do the show notes, because I go off on tangents. All right, let's move on. We'll go to the middle of the show. It's time for that spring reset. I'm taking a look at everything in my closet and figuring out that, oh no, this absolutely needs to go. And it's about time I replace things so that my clothes aren't older than my 15-year-old. Now you might think that they lasted that long because they were well made, but no, they're in terrible condition. Unlike the new jeans I just got from Quince. Jeans have always been my personal go-to because you can kind of wear them for lots of different things, but maybe they're not your thing. Maybe you're looking for, 100% European linen with insanely soft flow knit activewear fabric. It's definitely getting warmer, and their flow knit activewear is moisture wicking, anti-odor, and soft enough that you'll actually want to wear it every day. So pick out what you want. You can't go wrong because they have prices 50 to 60% less than similar brands. And like I said before, they are high quality. I continue to wear their clothes all the time, and I know that these new jeans are going to last me a lot better than the other things in my wardrobe. And on top of it, They look great. They're so comfortable. And I spent just as much on the jeans that I am now cleaning out of my wardrobe. So if you're looking for something better, just all around better, go check out Quince. So go do it right now. Refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Go to quince.com/falloutlore for free shipping and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. Go to quince.com/falloutlore for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/falloutlore.
It's cozy season, and nothing compares to wrapping yourself in a Minky Couture blanket. Luxuriously soft, perfectly warm, thoughtfully made. From movie nights to chilly mornings, Minky Couture turns everyday moments into pure comfort. Once you feel it, you'll understand why it's called the original best blanket ever. Visit minkycouture.com or a store near you and make this cozy season your softest one yet.
Hello there, old chap. Good to see another of General Atomic's finest, still eager to serve.
Man, that was a train wreck. Welcome to doing live shows, everybody. When you can, it's funny because like you or I do an individual show on occasion. Like you did one, 2 weeks ago, and then I did one a few weeks before that because you had something come up. And it's in some ways it's easier because you can just like organize everything, and you can do multiple takes if you mess something up.
It's like writing an essay.
It's like writing an essay, right? But then when you do a live show, because this is what we do, we're live on twitch.tv/robotsradio, and there's not really that. You can't really do that. You can say, okay, let's try and do that again and maybe edit it, but for the most part, you're just live, so you just kind of roll with it. But anyway, welcome to the middle of the show. This is the part of the show where I get to thank our 45 amazing patrons. You guys are incredible. Thank you for being here and supporting us. We wouldn't be able to do this if it wasn't for you guys. Thank you very, very, very much. And especially thank you to Pie Man, Liberty Pie, our Tier 6 patron. He's amazing, supporting the show with, holy crap, a $250 donation every month, and that is amazing. Thank you so much, Pie Man. And he's actually supports a number of our shows, so super awesome guy. Thank you for doing that. This week we currently don't have any Tier 5 patrons, but if you decide to help support us at a Tier 5, you will get thanked every week during the show, and we have a number of other patrons who are getting all sorts of rewards. So go check out patreon.com/falloutlorecast. It's really easy to sign up. I had some people ask questions like, can you pay with a credit card on there? I'm like, yeah, you can pay credit card, PayPal, like whatever is easier for you, you guys can pay for it. And you can get even just the Tier 1 patrons or $1 patrons get ad-free episodes. And that's enough to help support us, even just a little bit. All of it helps. It all adds up. So thank you to everyone. And let's move on with the rest of the show.
If you have any questions about Nuka World, I'd be delighted to answer them.
All right. Did you manage to put the train back on the tracks?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to touch on a few things before we jump 100 years in the future.
Okay.
So there are just a few loose ends I want to tie up. One of them is just some simple things about who the followers are and what their like policies are. So anyone is welcome to join, and that includes former members of the Enclave or Brotherhood of Steel. They do not discriminate. They will not necessarily ally with the groups, but if you want to leave a group and join theirs, they're not going to push you away, which is wise, and they obviously have security, so it's not really a safety issue.
Well, I mean, some people would consider it a risk because are those people being authentic? Are they just stealing your secrets? That kind of thing. But at the same time, like this is mercy or grace. This is grace.
Yeah.
This is like living through grace, which is a phrase that is used in religious circles a lot. Like if you come from a Christian background, they talk about grace and the willingness to accept others even for their flaws, or sometimes do the risky thing even if that puts you at danger because it's for the greater good. It's the thing that is truly the good thing to do. And I find that interesting because you don't see that a lot. You see most of the time people in Fallout and in the real world being careful And if anything, erring on the side of, well, you're from that organization we don't trust, so we're not going to let you in, rather than giving somebody the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. It's so nice that they're willing to do that.
I'm saying all the words. I'm sorry.
You're saying all the words. No,
it's
okay. I hear you. It's like I'm cheering. I'm like, yeah, like get it, you know. Then I'm like, oh no more commentary. It's all gone.
It's fine. It's fine.
But it's okay. I'll just jump to the next little bullet point, and
go for it.
We can get forward. So the other thing I wanted to mention was about their relationship with the NCR. I kind of summarized what they, that they were working with them and like why it made sense for them to work together, but I didn't say what they were doing. So they were actually very important to the NCR because not only were they there to help and to educate, but they also, they did research for the NCR and were their technical advisors. So they were leading the NCR and how they were moving forward. They were part of the people deciding, what they were doing and what was the best way to do the things that they wanted to do. And to take them off the board like that is really interesting because that breakup between the NCR and the followers really makes it so that the NCR can do whatever they want.
Yeah, or at least the people with those, I don't know, that more helpful ideology aren't necessarily steering the ship anymore. Right. Yeah. They lost the voice, which is interesting. And I've got a little dog here saying hi to me. My cat was biting me like 5 minutes ago. This is a weird episode. This is a weird episode. Come here. Look at this guy. Sorry for our listeners. Oh, hi, Oreo. It's Oreo. Hi, everybody. All right. Sorry. Go on. So my last little thing is just about the followers and their reputation and how the NCR has obviously done a lot in terms of propaganda to skew that reputation, and people really bought into it, right? They believe that they're anarchists, they believe that they're like hippies, right? Which if you think about, these are pacifists that just want to help people. They live in like a little commune type situation, right? They have some guards, but like they're not them, like they aren't the guards. It definitely feels a little hippie-ish, but is that a bad thing? Right. It's really easy to be like, oh darn hippies, but why? And so this is an issue, and despite the people that they're trying to help actively antagonizing them, they continue to help for free. Right. And I just think that it's really cool, including not only just providing medical aid and stuff, but opening entire schools that communities can attend for free, right? Public schools, to teach them how to do things in medical science, right? Which will help the communities in the long run. And so now you have full graduating classes that know how to do basic science, which is really cool. This sounds like the only real solution to me. And I'm sure a lot of people have different ideas about this. Let us know. Let us know your thoughts on the Robots Radio Discord. But it seems to me that if you're going to fix the world, education and I just don't have the words today, but an unending amount of goodwill, if that makes sense, like continuing to give and do the right thing, no matter how many times you get knocked down, is ultimately the only way to actually improve things. I think and it sounds foolish, but I think that that's actually how you make things better. Because it puts the power in the hands of the people, right? And this is, again, this is what you see in modern day politics is, exactly, do we give the power to the government? Do you give the power to the people? In what ways? What is the right way to do that? And their whole thing is that 100% the followers of the apocalypse just revolves around social welfare. Right. Like they the want more to go and strengthen the communities. Right. And this is one of the things that makes democracies strong. A democracy is only as strong as the individuals who are in that democracy. So if you can strengthen every member of the democracy through education and facts, like actually giving them factual information. So like actual the press, like the information being communicated, being vetted and trustworthy. So like freedom of the press, freedom of education, freedom of science, so that you can find out what actually works and what doesn't. And then medical help. Then you end up with a very resilient population that knows what's best. They know what's out there, and they're able to make the best decisions because they're educated and they're critical thinkers. And if you have a population that can do that, then you could build, and this is a long-term thing, but you could build a nation that is extremely resilient and is way more likely to make the right choices than the wrong choices.
And I'd like to add that because this is something that can set a foundation for a society, where it goes from there could go anywhere. You could end up in a place like how our country is run, where you end up with a democracy, and perhaps it is skewed in various ways, but the core of it is that everyone has a say in how the country is run. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to corporations, or like if you specifically like medical corporations, the medical industry, the way we have it here is it's not free, right? But people, and it's often expensive, but it's there, right? We have the knowledge for it. And that is one way that it can go, where you pay, for medical attention. But the other way it could go, and what I think that the followers are trying to do, is they can provide that medical attention, which they do for free, but they also teach the people how to do it themselves.
Right.
And I think that's something that I don't know about other places in the world, but definitely in modern day, something that we just do not do anymore is figure out how to fix medical things, particularly on our own. And many things are too hard to fix on your own, which is why you need to go to someone, and why people don't die from random diseases like they used to, or at least you hope they won't, right? But like things that probably people should not be dying from anymore, because with proper medical help, you should survive them. Right. There's ways to do it where you have the support of people who are trained for those big things. And also, if something bad happens at home, you don't have to go to the ER, because the people at home can also do something.
Right. It's like there's a false dichotomy that often comes up in these kinds of conversations about like, why give the man a fish when you can teach them to fish? And sometimes people will argue like giving handouts is like giving a man a fish, when really we should be putting time into teaching a man to fish. But why not both? Like, that's a false dichotomy. Like, while you are educating the man to fish, he still needs to eat before he catches his first fish.
Yeah, I was thinking about this earlier, right?
Do both.
Where if people cannot learn new things and progress and grow if they don't have their basic needs met. And that is the biggest issue in the wasteland, is that people are not getting their needs met, and the followers are meeting those needs. Right. And it's allowing for people to become educated and to grow.
Right.
It
so
all
do both.
goes together.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. I think we've we've hit this nail a lot.
We know who the followers are now.
Right. Okay. So what's next?
Okay, so let's fast forward 100 years, and you get to Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. Mm-hmm. And by this time, the followers have sustained themselves as a nonprofit organization. But it puts them in a little bit of a strange spot. And this is because they are forced to rely on others to trade for things, particularly medicine, and to work with people that they may not agree with in order to keep the whole operation running. And this isn't awful for them, but it's not ideal.
Right.
But there are some benefits of this, such as word of mouth, right? The more people you work with, the more people hear about what you're doing. And when they are accepting people from other factions into their ranks, it's probably a given that there are people that will hear about them and decide they'd rather work with the followers than someone else, right? And so that probably works out really well, and it gives them more access to supplies. A big amount of their support comes from donations from other wastelanders, often in the form of not money, but things, technology, resources, things that they need to survive. And the donations particularly are what sustained them over the course of this 100 years. But in addition to their other things they have going on, ideally, though,
Sorry, I was just going to chime in Fallout New Vegas. That's a lot of what you do when you meet the followers. Is they ask for you to donate things, and you can continue to donate until you get to a certain point. And what's interesting about that is even if you are even if they really, really like you as much as possible, they do not invite you to join them until you've donated enough of stim packs and Radaway and something else. There's one other thing that they ask for. And you have to donate enough of those things over and over and over again until they're finally satisfied. And then they invite you to join them. It's only when you donate enough that it happens. It doesn't matter before that what you've done for them. I mean, you still have to do good things for them, but that's the straw on the camel's back,
like
I guess.
The game mechanic.
Yeah, that's the game mechanic. But that's the thing is that like they have to. I think you have to prove to them basically that you are willing to give.
Yeah, you're selfless.
Yeah, not just to go out into the wasteland and do things for them, but that you actually will donate and donate and donate and donate, and then you are actually invited, which is interesting because again, it's very different than any of the other mechanics for any of the other factions.
So ideally, the followers would like to be able to work with local merchants, which will benefit the community because it's benefiting the local economy. And, oh no.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
What?
My notes. The whole thing just went. I lost.
Your notes exploded. This has been the weirdest episode.
My notes exploded.
This has been the weirdest episode.
Where was I?
Oh,
there's my cursor. I'm so sorry, everybody. Here we are. Okay, we're good. I'm back. So they like to work with local merchants because it helps the local economy. And also it gives them the ability to, they do trades, right? And so if they buy medicine, they can give the merchants things that will help the community or things that are just nice, right? Like your kid wants a teddy bear. Maybe they found a teddy bear. They're going to trade a teddy bear and now some kid can get a teddy bear, right? Like they're just something nice, which is cool. So working locally like that is really awesome. It's also why, like in real life, you get people that are like support small businesses, but same deal. Like you're helping the local economy. And then in terms of being self-sustaining, that's another goal of theirs. And they want to be able to do all these things without having to rely on the donations of other people. But to get there, they need the donations so that they can become self-sustaining. Right. So by the time you meet them in New Vegas, they're still developing, despite it being 100 years. Sometimes things just take time, especially when you're in the wasteland.
Right. Right.
So yeah, and when they trade, they like to get medicine, like I mentioned, but also raw materials. And so they want to get the resources so that they can build things themselves, and then they can teach other people how to build things from those raw materials, which is awesome.
Right. It's a whole feed them and then also teach them at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in New Vegas, we've jumped all over these show notes. Let's talk about their relationship with the some of the darker groups like the Great Khans. Yeah. The Legion.
Obviously, they've sustained for 100 years, but not without hardships. They had the breakup with the NCR, a little drama, a little spice. But they also had some issues with the Great Khans and Caesar's Legion or Kaiser's Legion. And they're similar issues, but a little different. So the followers taught the Great Khans how to read and write and do basic science. And they took this and they started making drugs and selling them to raiders. Right. And this is the thing. This is one of the reasons why people would be like, oh, you're giving so much and it's going to be used against you. And yeah, that sometimes it will. It will happen sometimes. Right. But sometimes that doesn't mean that overall it's terrible. Yeah. The hope is that it's a net positive, even if people use it for the wrong things. Yeah, there are just going to be bad people sometimes. Yeah. But yeah, unfortunately, they started selling drugs to raiders. And then the leader of the Legion was originally a follower. So, right, he calls himself Kaiser. And that is not his actual name. His real name is Edward Salo. Uh-huh. Yeah. And the education and support he received due to being raised by the followers is what let him become the kind of person that could form and run the Legion, which is awful. And what's interesting is the Legion and the followers are obviously polar opposites. These are two vastly different organizations. They like the Legion is very militaristic, very dictatorial.
Yes.
They have a dictatorship. And the followers, on the other hand, are the exact opposite. And because of this, they do not get along, despite one of their own creating the Legion. But Edward Salo does appreciate the stepping stones that the followers gave him, despite disagreeing with their ideology. He still acknowledges that they helped, which is true, right? Like, they raised him.
Yeah.
He was a kid vault dweller when they, or I don't even know, because that would have been so long ago. How old is he? Not over 100.
Yeah, he's not over 100.
But yeah, but he, obviously, probably descendant of the original Vault Dwellers, and so raised, in this group. And
yeah, I don't know if he was a descendant of the original Vault Dwellers. We'll need to look that up, because I don't recall.
Well, they might not even mention it.
Yeah,
but he definitely was raised by them,
right.
Which I imagine means he was born into the group, because I don't think they just pick up kids.
They maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, we'll have to dig into that, because I don't recall off the top of my head. It's not something that is just right there in my memory banks to think about or know.
But yeah, and then so something else that I thought of the thought that was interesting was that the Legion obviously is inspired by ancient Romans, and the symbol for the followers in the Mojave Desert is a snake around a staff, and this is a reference to the god of medicine in Greek and Roman mythology. And so both of them having symbolism from kind of the same era is really interesting and cool. Not the same era. Those are obviously very different eras, but same
classical influences. Yeah, totally.
So that was really interesting that they're both Roman, which is really cool. But this is not the same symbol that they use in the other games, I believe. I think that's only in New Vegas, right?
In New Vegas, they use both. So if you look at some of the imagery on some of the locations where the followers are, you'll see the circle with the cross, but then you'll also see the staff with the snake. And if you do all the stuff that you need to do in order to become one of the followers, you get a fancy lab coat. And on one of the shoulders is the circle and the cross, and the other shoulder is the staff with the snake. So they use both. And it would make sense, because they're so focused on medical technology that the staff with the snake is traditionally connected with, doctors and medicine.
I think it's interesting that ends up being what the designers for the game chose for them, because it really leans into... I really don't know what it's like in other countries, but here, so much of the medical imagery and logos that we are familiar with also originate from the god of medicine, the same things, the staff. Yeah. Or Hermes is the other god it's the staff with the snakes and the wings. It also comes from that, and that's really popular, at least in America, in terms of, what we do. So it's interesting that they drew from that for this game. It doesn't specify anywhere that I looked if it is if the followers got that imagery from previous medical stuff, because that would be interesting if they just saw it. I assume
so. I mean, they're educated, and I think that's part of what this is showing us, is that the followers and Kaisar, Edward Salo, are educated people. And so they're using classical influences. Traditionally in classical education, that's what you learned. You learned about the classics. You learned about history. You learned about classical literature. You learned about math and science. But you would know somebody else was educated because they would know about these kinds of things. So it's tied to that concept that they are educated people.
And then expanding on this, I mentioned before that they don't like the Brotherhood, and the only two factions that they will not work with at all are the Legion and the Brotherhood.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Not even the Great
they
Khans.
just refused.
Yeah.
Not the Great Khans. Well, they taught the Great Khans, like, I feel like there's maybe some, like, they did some shady things with them, and they're a little...
Or there's, there's some hope to, like, redeem them. This idea that maybe, what if they could get them off of drugs, get them off the streets, or off the wasteland. This phrase doesn't work.
Off the wasteland. Everyone's on the streets in the wasteland.
But I have a sense that, like, helping people get off drugs is more of what they are able to accomplish. But stopping Kaiser's Legion or stopping the ideology of the Brotherhood is not something they could tackle.
No.
And so
it's interesting that the NCR isn't in that list either, right? Because they obviously had a disagreement with them. But I imagine if the NCR were to decide, oh, no, we need to take care of the land we already have.
Right.
Then it would be fine. And I'm sure, actually, it just dawned on me, the NCR, the way that they were kind of neglectful with situations like Prim or the correctional facility, so on and so forth. That probably didn't look too good either to the followers. Oh, yeah. Because it's just more of an example of the NCR has taken in these areas and done things with them and then just left them abandoned, essentially.
Right.
It is exactly what the followers don't like. And so I think it's interesting that they still are willing to, like, engage. But like I said before, they're basically following the NCR wherever they go because that is the accessible land and people that they can work with. And so I guess it's kind of a requirement that you would have to engage with them sometimes. Mm-hmm. So that makes sense to me. And then beyond factions, I thought it was interesting, their opinion of Mr. House. So they don't really like Mr. House. Yeah. Because they really just believe that he's running his casinos and that's all he cares about, right? And the base of operations for the followers is in Freeside. And if you haven't played New Vegas, Freeside is right outside of New Vegas. Mm-hmm. Like, they're basically attached. And the people in Freeside aren't really allowed to go into New Vegas. They're just stuck there. And so you get a lot of gang activity, you get a lot of stuff because they're not being supported by this city that actually does have income and resources. They're being stuck outside of it. And because the followers are there, a lot of what they help with is in Freeside. They have a lot of things going on in Freeside. And when it comes to Freeside, you have gangs, like I mentioned, and one gang in particular is the Kings. And they are those fellas that look like greasers, and they have the hair all slicked back.
we need to talk about them. They all look like Elvis.
They have they have leather jackets. They all look like Elvis. And they love the followers because the followers are supporting their turf, basically, right? Like, they are taking care of the area. And even if maybe the followers wouldn't love gang activity, they get along because they both want what is best for the people that live around there, which is really cool and interesting and strange. Like, it's, unlikely allies. It's fun.
Yeah, and they all love Elvis, so you got that going.
Who doesn't love Elvis?
I don't know. I don't know how the followers feel about
rock.
Elvis. The king of rock. Oh man.
Oh.
So.
And then I have one last little thing about Freeside that I think is really cool, is that the followers not only assist the people living in Freeside with medical ailments, right? So, like, the followers do a lot of things all around, but because this is where their base is, they have some more I don't know the word that comes up is leverage, but they have more resources, I think. And so they're able to not only provide physical medical help, but also psychological medical help. They have psychiatrists that are trained to work with things like PTSD, which I'm sure is very important in the wasteland. Probably having help with your mental health when you live in the wasteland would be just a game changer.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, can you imagine not having mental problems of some sort? Like depression, anxiety, something like living in that kind of situation, for sure. Yeah. PTSD, like like multiple things all at the same time. Like,
probably.
Holy moly, that's got to be hard.
Yeah. So having a place you could go, even if Freeside is a little bit of a dump, that you could get mental health, I don't know, evaluations, perhaps, just someone to kind of tell you what's going on and like what you can do with it. It's so cool. And I think, again, right, it's like you gave them a fish, you taught them to fish, and then you asked them how they feel about fishing. Like all at the same time.
How they feel about fishing. That's
you're like
therapy.
You're really covering all your bases.
Wow. Well, I have a feeling that you're a fan of this group, Lainey. What do you think?
I think they're fun. They're the kind of group that, like, in the real world, I would want to work with,
Yeah. And it would be hard to have bad feelings about them.
Yeah.
Like, even if you don't necessarily agree with their ideology in the long run, you can't really pin anything against them other than maybe getting in the way of your own selfish agendas sometimes, which is what some groups do. So, well, this is
and then slandering them for no reason.
Yeah. But this has been a really interesting episode. We've had a lot of ups and downs. This has been a journey, friends. Thank you for being here with us. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Followers of the Apocalypse and what your thoughts were in playing New Vegas or the older games. Lainey, do you have anything else going on before we head out? Anything else you want to share? How's work going? And how's streaming and stuff?
Work is great. Streaming I have not done yet, but I mentioned in my episode that I want to stream all these indie games that I have. And so I think I will, because I just think they're going to be more fun with other people. And so I just, if you want to see some like real wacky games, please join me. Not sure when it will be, but I have a Discord and like a community, and you're welcome to join. And that's where I post updates. That's where we talk about games, what games to play, all of that. So you have any opinions or you're just curious, that's where you should go. Also, speaking of work, as you know, I work in a video game store, and guess what I purchased?
You purchased a life-sized Pikachu.
That'd be cool, but no.
Snorlax.
Snorlax, no. So I got one thing from my store, and then I bought something from someone else. Don't tell my boss. Just kidding. I got an Xbox 360 and a PS2.
Oh,
so they're fun. And what we're doing is me and CJ have just been like, because we have so many of the games in our store for cheap, just buying games that we loved as kids, and like playing them again. Games? It's so fun.
So what have you played? What one stand out?
We just got, CJ walked in with the PS2 while I've been doing this, and so we haven't touched that yet. But so we'll get there. But the Xbox 360 we had came with games already on it. The people who turned it in didn't wipe the hard drive.
Oh no!
Which bless them, they're amazing. So we deleted their profiles because that just seems respectful. And then it keeps the games there. So if the games are on the system, they stay there. So we have SSX. We have a bunch of like sport games and stuff. I don't know, just like whatever. Probably some like Teenage Boys don't it, But we have Burnout Paradise, which I used to play at your house. Yeah. And I obsessed. Listen, I have no investment in cars or racing or anything. My fiance used to work on cars, knows a lot about cars, but that's not my area. I am obsessed with this game.
Oh, it's super fun. You crash into everything.
It's so fun. You really can just crash into everything. It's real good. It's been both scary and cathartic since the car accident to play this game. Because like most of the time I'm like, I'm zooming, like it's fun, and then every once in a while like I'll hit something and I'm like, that wouldn't be fun. But most of the time it's okay. Otherwise I wouldn't play it. And then we got some of the Lego games.
Yeah.
So we have Lego Star Wars, because you have to have Lego Star Wars. It's required. Sure. And so we haven't played it yet. That one's on the PS2. And then we have on the Xbox Lego Lord of the Rings, which I never played. And it is very fun. It's so cool. It has voice acting. Like it just has the lines from the movies. Oh yeah. It is awesome. It's a lot of fun. So CJ, I actually haven't played it, but CJ and my roommate Corey were playing it last night. and it was awesome. So we're just having a good time, just sucking all the happiness out of our youth.
Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah. We'll have to talk a little bit more about that when I see you on Saturday. So that'll be fun. We're getting together on Saturday to celebrate Oliver's birthday.
Speaking of revisiting games, EA, don't give EA any more money. Just kidding. Can I make statements like that on here? EA has a subscription thing that you can do where it's like $5 a month and you can play a bunch of their old games, right? And it has like Mass Effect. It has like there's like good stuff on there. I did not play any of the actual like quality fun games when I'm playing on it. Well, they're still fun, otherwise I wouldn't play them. I'm playing Peggle. Do you remember Peggle? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll still play Peggle on occasion. Sure. Peggle too. Yeah.
Peggle's a good time. And Spore. I've been playing Spore.
Spore. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, it is so fun. I appreciate it more now than I did like as a kid, right? Because now like part of it's like yes, more science knowledge, and then part of it's like I can really appreciate the design of the game. It's like 5 games in one.
It is.
You could play that thing forever. It's crazy.
Like 5 games in one. It's 5 very mediocre games all in one.
Yeah, 5 very mediocre games all in one. But all together, it's a very large mediocre package.
It's a very expensive mediocre thing. Yeah.
Except I got it for free $99. Just kidding. I paid $5 a month for all these. And well, the whole reason I found this in the first place is because I found that they had The Sims 3 on there. And I just am a sucker for The Sims 3. Yeah. And so I figured probably I wouldn't want to play it for forever because the graphics are definitely getting to be a little rough, which you can play games where the graphics are rough. That's not like if they are redeemable, you can stick with them. And The Sims 3, there's lots of things about it that are, in my opinion, much better than Sims 4, but also vice versa. So I can play it for a month, I figured. Would be fine.
That's your time limit. Yeah. Well, you should check out Dragon Age and Mass Effect if you get a chance. Those are all good.
I played some Dragon Age last year.
Okay.
But
yeah.
Yeah.
Those are good too. Well, cool. Sounds like you're having a blast with a bunch of old games. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah. I've got all the stuff I've been doing. I'm trying to stream some more. I've updated my stream stuff. You can't see it on the overlay right now, but the gaming overlays that I use have been updated. And we've got some new channel points things going on. So all sorts of fun things you guys can do on my live stream. So I'm trying to do that some more than I've been doing lately. And other than that, we've got a bunch of shows on robotsradio.net. So go check out all the shows. And we're launching a new show. I'm doing another new show. It'll be Monday nights at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. We're doing the Xbox Game Pass show. Me and Sam, or N7 Legend from the Mass Effect Lorecast, are doing a show about the Xbox Game Pass games and that platform and all the new stuff coming to it and our experiences playing those games and a bunch of stuff, especially with E3 coming up and some big new announcements. And with Bethesda and EA all being wrapped into that bundle, there's a lot to go over there, especially when it comes to connecting to the other shows like this show, Mass Effect Lorecast, Elder Scrolls. So it's kind of a neat crossover way of us being able to talk about multiple games on the same show. So come hang out with us and check that out. It'll be live again, 10:30 Eastern on Monday nights at twitch.tv/robotsradio. And I should be streaming some of the Game Pass games throughout the week. So come hang out with me and, hit the little channel points button that makes you poop on my head, because that's one of them.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Can I do that?
Not right now. It only works during games.
Just kidding.
But later. But thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you for riding this crazy roller coaster of a episode with us. And we will be back next week and this I think will be our new time. We're going to stick with Thursdays, but 4 p.m. on Thursdays. So we'll see you then. Thanks, Lainey. See you everybody. Have a good rest of your week. Bye.
To plug into everything else we're doing, check out robotsradio.net. Also, look up the Robots Radio YouTube for videos about Fallout and other things. And check us out on Twitter, twitter.com/robotsradio.
You've been listening to a Robots Radio podcast. Smart shows for interesting people. Check out all the shows at robotsradio.net.
Thanks, Lo. Yeah, I appreciate it. I think it must be getting stormy out. We've been having a lot of rainstorms coming through because my dogs are starting to get kind of freaked out. So I think I will make sure that they don't freak out some more or something. I don't know. I don't know how to help them sometimes when they get all freaked out because of the weather. Sometimes we put a sweater on Pumpkin. Sometimes that helps. Did your cat get freaked out from storms? Lainey, you're muted. We can't hear you.
I was saying all sorts of stuff. She does. Noodle doesn't. Noodle
doesn't care?
Awesome. She is also awesome, but scared of everything. And also attacking me right now.
Cats are so weird.
Cats are so weird. She's been in a weird mood. She had her surgery yesterday, and she was like super drugged out all day yesterday because of it. And then today she's just like this.
Yeah, I believe it. All right. Well, good luck. Good luck with your crazy cats. I'll see you in a few days. Thanks for hanging out, chat. Low Elves.
Yeah.
Neko, if you're still here. Anyone else who's been in chat. Thanks. Good to see you guys. I will be back tonight with the Elder Scrolls Lorecast and the Dungeons and Dragons Lorecast. So stay tuned for that stuff. All right. See you, everybody. Bye.
It's cozy season, and nothing compares to wrapping yourself in a Minky Couture blanket. Luxuriously soft, perfectly warm, thoughtfully made. From movie nights to chilly mornings, Minky Couture turns everyday moments into pure comfort. Once you feel it, you'll understand why it's called the original best blanket ever. Visit minkycouture.com or a store near you and make this cozy season your softest one yet. It's cozy season, and nothing compares to wrapping yourself in a Minky Couture blanket. Luxuriously soft, perfectly warm, thoughtfully made. From movie nights to chilly mornings, Minky Couture turns everyday moments into pure comfort. Once you feel it, you'll understand why it's called the original best blanket ever. Visit minkycouture.com or a store near you and make this cozy season your softest one yet.